don't know why it keeps it up there. That's so strange. Anyway, special thank you to Patricia Arnold for ordering food today. Your shipment is about to go out. So, once my tape undone, I just called you out if you bought that without permission. Jeff had ordered something from eBay, like, say about a week or so ago. And I guess this is like their return bag. So I'm using that. Very ASMR. Hard thing with these is getting the barcode straight. And then I like to write on there, like, thank you for supporting my eBay or whatever seller site. Not only is it to say thank you to the customer, but it also gets my name out there in the postal world, which is the point, right? So thank you for supporting my hashtag drive eBay. And then that goes out to the Postal Service, and then anybody who is in the Postal Service will see that name or that hashtag or whatever, and they'll look it up because they're going to get curious and wonder, what did they buy? What is this name that they speak of? You know, promote yourself any way that you possibly can. Legally. Alright. I have been working in the book this evening or last night and today. And today I came up with a storybook for really anybody. Just kids. And I got some rough draft stuff going. So for literature arts, we'll probably talk about that. Anytime that you come up with an idea, the reason why it's given to you is so you can create it. Or not create it. It's your choice, right? It gives you the power to choose for yourself. So I chose to create it. And I'll continue to work on that later. But yeah. So I'm very heavily working in this whole planner thing past like 12 hours or so. I'm really still working on it. My apologies to anybody who's been trying to watch my stream or trying to watch my recorded stream, if you're on my YouTube. That it got a lot of reverb, especially when I was using my Streamlabs desktop with my camera plug-in. For some reason, my laptop was pulling one vocal, and then the camera was pulling another one. So I know it's probably somewhere in the setup, but I don't know how to do that. So it's just going to stay like this for a minute. So welcome to the new point of view, right? Um, some of the stuff that I've been working on is build outs from each one of the sections that I have for the calendar. Um, and this is really going to give an overview of what's going on right now. But all of this information is going to change in time, like in a very short amount of time. So I'm trying to keep it as general as possible. And when I talk on here, I try to keep it general, but my mind tends to wander like everybody else and goes off into a tangent and does its own thing. So bear with me, if you will. Trigger warning on all levels, naturally. Um, so, calendar renewal for today is morning routine, wardrobe, which is the OOTDs, socials, seller sites, advertising, house chores, daily schedule, unschooling, electives, gym, thrift, supper, cleanup, nightly routine, self-care, power down, and sleep, which gives you 7 hours to sleep. So even though all of those things are light touch, and your schedule will be very different than mine naturally, pick and choose however, do it however you Frankenstein the shit out of it. I don't care. But whatever you guys can use or pull from this, if it can help you, that's the point, right? And if you have a different opinion about anything that's going on, let me know. I want to hear the information that you have in your head. I want to know if my information is different than your information, because that's going to help me build my brain library. um, so, uh, so yeah. We're talking also about requirements and stuff for each site, which have changed recently, as you guys mostly know. So we're kind of up against something that's like unlike anything we've ever experienced before. But at the same time, we can use this as an opportunity to utilize that forward push energy to kind of how do you call it? Like grabbing onto the shirt tails of the shooting star that's going by, right? So we all know AI is going to be the next greatest thing since sliced bread, right? According to society. So what are you going to do? Most people are going to fight it. They're going to try to stop it. They're going to try to go against it, say anything negative against it. That's just how change is. I'm included in that, okay? And so the next thing will be acceptance, right? The thing is, though, is those who accept it before anything negative happens are the ones that are going to be able to benefit from that energy, right? If you're thinking at it from a darker standpoint, from a not so much a darker standpoint, but like from a different different point of view. So, for those who are financially savvy or networking savvy or just conversation pieces at the very least, are going to pull on this, right? Because it's new energy. Everybody's going to flock to it, right? And it's not just going to be in one industry, it's going to be in all industries. It's just who's going to get there first, who's going to be the supplier of said demand, which most likely is going to lead back to who's already the supplier. Is going to be the first demand, but there's going to be new pop-ups. The problem is when you have a new pop-up, granted the quality gets cut. So, and that's an ending industry. The sale is never originally in the sale, it's always in the accessories. The fact that it is an open AI makes it very questionable for stocks, in my mind. There's a couple of them that I would keep an eye on. I wrote them down yesterday. I don't know what I did. For example, just as an example, we all know that There's a superconductor factory somewhere on the planet, and that location has its own listing in our uh, stock market in America, at least. I don't know if the stock market's international. I think it is international. Anyway, so where was it? Oh, here we go. Here's some to keep an eye on, and this is just open knowledge. Nasdaq's NVDA, NYSE TSM, Nasdaq's Meta, Very, IDEX, Tesla, NYSE AI, Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft. My personal picks is Hawaii, I can't even say it right, Soundhound, QUBT, DGNX, PLTR, Perplexity, Anysphere, Unify, Decagon, and Eve. So those are the ones that I'm looking at and wondering what's going on with those. It's a large listing, but it's a good one to start with. Get the broad spectrum. A lot of those, I think, are still kind of in the lower atmosphere as far as cost. I don't know anything further than that. I'm not into trading. I've never done it before. But that's what I'm seeing from the patterns of what we're doing in the world versus what's going on in America versus the trends and stuff like that. And the news that we're hearing and the wars that are going on and what's behind the scenes in that and the forward movement of anticipating your own algorithm of what could possibly be, right? Now, that could be the right or wrong choice. Nobody really knows until you make the choice, right? So another one is Roche. A company by that name is going to be opening an AI and cloud-based driven facility in North Carolina. A lot of the AI facilities are coming to North Carolina and Texas. If you enjoy water, I highly suggest keeping a hold of it as long as you can. DARPA actually was able to open a wireless energy beam, and it sent out over 8.6 kilometers, over 800 watts. So they are actually doing like the things that like Tesla did. They're actually achieving it now, and it's a little scary because we really don't know that much about frequency and its effect on our well-being, because we're not just people. We're not just skin and hair and blood and stuff, but we're actually frequencies. And when we are in front of or around other frequencies like electronics and stuff like that, it messes with us. Also, same thing with your brain waves. So when you start experiencing 5G, 6G, 7G, 10G, however high up they go, until your body legitimately cannot handle that frequency anymore, it's almost like a breaking down of like the DNA at that point. When you have a high, I mean, if you were to Google right now, what does high frequency do to molecules? You know what I mean? So if you have an entire world being projected this super high frequency, what happens at that point, right? Like, do we cook from the inside out? Like, what's going on here? So don't get me wrong about raising our own personal frequencies. That's something that we have to do to maintain survival, as well as to be able to ascend through your halo. So, it's just little steps that you have to take every day to do that anyway. I don't think you can do it like in an instant, but the possibility is out there. The question is, that I have, is if for some reason that they have, we all know that there's over 60,000 satellites in space right now that are facing towards the planet or and if they have that capability, what happens if somebody uses all of that for, say, if it's AI hacks into the laser systems? Next thing you know, all of the things are sending off a frequency that's so high that makes Earth a new sun. It's very much a possibility. Hey, Cofferel, how are you? It's a little delayed, sorry. But yeah, um, and we talked a lot about that yesterday, anyways. So I've been trying like not to keep up with the same conversations, but they all just tie back into each other, and it's like this, whatever. So, um, background waterfall noises from Jeff. You're welcome for the ASMR. Let's see. You're awfully fast to get on here today, weren't you? I'm not used to that response, that fast response. Um, so, okay. Skirt off of the science topics, because that we'll just leave that for science. Today is not actually science. Today is hell, what day is today? Oh, Saturday. Okay. So today's Fashion Saturday. Okay, so we're gonna be doing for morning routines. We're gonna do, even though it's afternoon, almost evening. 6-month wardrobe reset. So remember, at the beginning of the year, we had said to turn all of the hangers around, right? This is old school. Turn all the hangers around, and then whatever hanger that you take your clothes off of, when you go to put it back, put it on regular, and move the ones that are reversed to the corner of your closet or whatever, right? That way you'll know those are the ones that you don't wear, right? Don't get me wrong, there's certain occasion, so there's 6-month and 1-year outfits, but that's old school. A lot of people nowadays are so into the instant gratification, and like myself, I like to change out my wardrobe as much as possible. I am the type of person that if I buy clothing, unless it has like some kind of like emotional attachment for it for me, I do turn around and sell my clothes. I've always done that. I don't, or hand them down or donate them or whatever. Um, I also hold on to clothes since high school and makeup and everything else. So the only thing that fits still is my earrings. um, Mind you, that was like 25 years ago. So, where am I at here? Too many pages. Too many pages. So, it's funny. The whole time that I was into the whole Matrix thing, I never knew that Anderson's first name was Thomas. That's messed up. I was like, Thomas Anderson? What? I don't know how I'm, like, out of all the times that I've watched that. Okay. So, 6-month wardrobe, like I said, for those of you who are old school and keep your clothes, at least, during the course of the year or more, that's a good way to determine what you can get rid of or what you can trade out or whatever, right? Because you always want to try to upgrade yourself. Even if it's just like a couple of pieces of clothing, those couple of pieces of clothing usually, I don't know, but for me, it makes me feel good. And maybe that's an ego thing, but it does. So I asked myself, what is it that I want over the next 6 months, right? So in my mind, I'll get together an idea of like starting specifically like with holidays and stuff. That's a pretty general starting point, right? Um, so you look at like holidays or special events that end up happening, and then you can also look at like weather changes, or for example, I put in the thing in the planner like this year's color codes or specific aesthetics generators. Um, you can look at all of these, and especially for those of you who are content creators and trying to come up with new ideas all the time is very difficult. Um, Especially new ideas that are fresh ideas. Even if you're doing something that's been done a million times, maybe the way that you did it is the one time that it like hits it off or whatever, right? Don't be afraid to ask others for help in this, by the way. But like you could follow trends, like you can get ahead of trends sometimes. What I do to get ahead of trends is I look at what is in the Goodwill bin. And it sounds so stupid. You're just like, people got rid of all of that. No, that's okay. Those were the people that got on that shit early, and then they realized, oh, that's not what I want. And they got rid of it. So now, most of the things that are newer at the Goodwill bins are new trends. Because they realize it's a trend, and they don't really actually like it. So they get rid of it. Because everything in this generation is instant gratification. So, like I say, at like if you see like electronic robot dogs in the bins, you know that that's going to be a failure. I've seen so many of those Roombas, the little like what is it called? Yeah, it's a Roomba, the little vacuum cleaner that walks around on the floor or rolls around the floor. It's kind of a little creepy. Still cool though. I kind of wanted one, and then I seen them in the bins, and then I didn't just see one. I saw a lot of them, like up to 10 in the bins. Maybe they weren't all in one piece, but there was parts to them. And that was the first thing that I noticed that was a high priced product that was disposable that easily. And I mean, they're still very, very new. Like right now, if you go out to like, I don't know, Staples or something, they're like $800. So they're not cheap. And these things are like, if you think about it, that's like $8,000 sitting there. Or $800, sorry. Right? No. Eight. Fuck, I don't even know. Whatever. That's a lot of money sitting there. Hello. Hello, Alfredo. So yeah, it's just like there's some things that you'll recognize that there's like a trend for it because it doesn't last long. Oh!
Uh-oh. Was that your camera?
No, that was the microphone thing. My little fake microphone. Yeah. That I want to actually put a wire in and make it into a real one microphone because that would be super cool. What's up? You having fun?
No.
Never mind.
We'll have fun later.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
I had an idea for what we could do later, but it's nothing that extravagant. All I was going to say was have a tray of food and lay in bed and watch a movie later this evening together. My mother used to order, they were like Chinese food, but they were like little crescent. I mean, they were like cubicle stuffed things. I don't know. It's just something, and then dip it in sweet and sour sauce. I don't know. It just hit my mind how to think about something.
Do y'all know what he's talking about? Because I don't know. That's for me to know, and for you to never know. They just asked a specific question that I'm not going to repeat.
I hope I didn't do anything.
Nope. You're okay. I tell you later. How do I do this? Wait, what does it say? New to streaming, get streamer and get $10 discount. Oh yeah. What in the world? Why is it doing this? Oh my god. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Why did it do that? Hold on. Hold up.
I didn't mess up your.
No, it like. Oh shit. I don't understand what's going on with this thing. This is crazy. Okay, I guess that's a referral link. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what just happened, but. And I lost all the comments. I don't know what I just did. Fuck it. Okay, so. Okay. How does it do that? It doesn't do it. I guess not. Where is my thing anyway? Hold up. I have it on that one. No. Do it. I told you to do it. Thank you. About freaking time. Oh wait, that wasn't even the right one. Is it? I guess it is. Shit. Okay. Does it have it? Looking. What will my eyes see? Please tell me I put it on here. Did not. Good to know. I'm trying to update stuff. trying to see what. Hold up. Hold on. Where's that? Oh, okay, here we go. Hey. Ding. Oh, this thing is like way bigger than it needs to be. There we go. Okay. So next is oh, it's right on here. Oh, 32 minutes already. Okay. Let's see. So week number, I believe this is week number 25. What week are we in? Yeah, week 25 is from June 16th to the 22nd, so it's tomorrow. All right. So that's actually yeah, till tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and build out. Oh yeah, I was working in the calendar. That's what I was doing. Okay, so calendar change up is where are we at? Okay, so I'm going to add Whatnot and TikTok seller to my listings, but I'm only going to add Whatnot for right now because I don't have access for TikTok seller just yet. I already have access for Whatnot. I just don't have it loaded, which I missed out on freaking $150 because I didn't put it on there. But repeats daily. From 10 to 10:30, I guess. Just say that. Because I don't. Amazon, I'm not a seller on yet, but I have to share the links and promotions. So I'm going to actually move that above Whatnot. Amazon to Whatnot and 10:30. And then change. Okay, it makes that 11. That's music. Okay. Okay. So I have the morning routine. Like I said, as far as adding into the OOTDs, the best way to do that for Fashion Saturday is to go ahead and build out. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the next 6 months of going ahead and building out your fashion catalog, not just for content creators, but also personally. You can light touch this as much as you want to, but For those of you who are really into this stuff, this will probably help you get some inspiration at least. Um, so what I do is I take each one of the weeks and I aesthetic calendar it. So what I do is I go in and I find like I Google the aesthetic master list on Google, and it'll pull up a full listing in the master list, and you can actually click on it. It's kind of fun. You can click on it, and it'll pick out what your cores are going to be or what your aesthetics are going to be each week. It'll give you a baseline of something to work with, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an idea to run with, right? It's just getting something on the board. So what we're doing is we're throwing that fake tomato at the wall to see how long it sticks. Mind you, fashions are going to change, trends are going to change, colors will change, events are going to happen, they're going to pop up, they're going to make for opportunities for you to make new fashion. Like things will happen, and you'll never know how much your life will change just by changing your clothes. It just changes your mindset. It also, depending on what you're wearing, the closer to natural as possible, the higher frequency and vibration that it gives off also. So the closest and highest vibration is actually linen. Like polyester is one of the lowest ones. So also seeps chemicals and plastics into your microplastics into your skin. But either way, unfortunately, yeah, it's all everywhere. Can't escape it right now because the world's kind of covered in plastic. Um, but you can do the best you can in the meantime. If you're wanting quality over quantity, you know which way to go. Um, as far as like I said, the wardrobe reset. Every New Year's, I do a review of my clothing, and like I said, the ones that were turned around are the ones that you're going to look at first, of either getting rid of or altering or, um, you know, doing whatever you're going to do with it. Sell it. For some of you, like myself, I usually do this within like a short amount of time. It could be within a week, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but when I was getting food boxes, I'd go and get a dollar bag of clothes, and I would just change out that dollar bag of clothes every week. It would save on laundry. Uh, but I only had for that week, and that really does cut down a lot on your personal storage, especially if you're like a type of person that's a minimalist. You're gonna try to find the least amount of clothing as possible. For myself, when I was traveling a lot, I only had a wardrobe that would fit in my purse. And when I was homeless, the same way, my bag. I still have it. And that's the shift bag that I tell you guys about. The reason for that is because you never know what's going to happen. And it's always best to be prepared rather than in the shit. You know what I mean? And if you end up in the shit, there's ways to get out of it. And, I can try to help you with that too. At least verbally. So, New Year's review. Also, what's changed? Because, as we know, industries are changing, thought processes in the world are changing, times are changing, so everything else is going to go with that, right? And again, going back to what happens at the end of the year or at the end of the month or end of the week when you are taking those reverse hangers out and looking at it, seeing if you can A, sell it, B, upgrade it. Because I tell my kids all the time, even when they were little, they liked their clothes. They didn't want to get rid of their clothes, but they were growing out of them. So I told them, I know they were kind of young and this was probably bad parenting on my part, but I told them, cut them up, make new clothes out of them. Because I didn't have the money to buy new clothes for all of them. So I told them, I was like, well, let's make new stuff out of it then. It's material. You already have it. You know what it feels like. Run with it. And they did. And I think Ange was like 4 years old when she first started redoing her clothes, and like trying to do little fashion shows and stuff like that. And like when she got closer to 10, she legitimately like made her own fashion. And to this day, she's still, in my mind, a trendsetter. So, um, I think that's really awesome. And I think that that's what people should do. I think they should go towards things that they enjoy, that they have the, whether you or not you have the talent, you can learn stuff. And even if you're not perfect at it, nobody is. Even professionals will tell you that their stuff is shit. You know what I mean? So, so just run with it. Do it. Whatever makes you happy. And like I said, people like that who are creators like that or recreators are interesting. They make the life worth living. They make it worth living on this planet because it makes it interesting. It's unique. It's different. You know, um, it's inspiring for other new paths, and I'm always for new pathways in your brain for the least amount of time, even if it's just for a moment. So, um, and this could lead into other avenues and other industries or other thought processes or whatever projects that you're doing or an idea that you have. Or maybe it's just, okay, I want to just have some mental inspiration. I don't actually want to do anything. I just want to think about it. You know what I mean? Um, so hopefully this helps somewhere. But for the calendar shoots, now we do have on there for the master plan to have it where it's, as soon as I get it to come up, internet's being stupid today. For the master plan, like I said, you're going to be looking at holidays, special events, weekly, if there's any kind of new trends that are happening, new accessories, stuff like that, color codes. You can actually make a photo shoot content planner through Canva and stuff if you wanted to. I'm not sponsored, by the way. Let me go back. Okay. For the aesthetic master list, you're going to look at 52 themes, 13 calendar shoots, and 1 centerfold. For the Pantone colors, or any colors, doesn't necessarily have to be Pantone. My personal favorite is Pantone. But anyway, color of the year, seasonal, and trends. Then you're also going to be looking at weather. Now, mind you, weather is an accessory to fashion. Keep that in mind. Your fashion is always going to be there, whether no matter what weather there is. Okay, so making sure that you're keeping up with the weather in your area, having accessories that are weather ready. Weather channel is one of them that I look at. Also, putting it into your calendar, your Google Calendar, whatever, will help you to be able to keep an eye on what the weather's like, or you can just click on the weather app. Like I said, special occasions, you don't want a special occasion to be ruined, especially when you put a lot of time and effort into whatever it is that you're wearing or you're doing and stuff, and then the weather comes and it destroys everything. I don't know about you, but you're just like, fuck it at that point, right? So try to keep an eye out for that. And find weather ready clothing. I mean, if you're in the fashion industry, think about that. What can I make that would be weather ready or emergency scenario ready? We see a lot of these new vests for bikers that puff up as soon as they hit a certain, angle for their safety. It's another aspect to look at. You have to think outside the box. Okay, I keep pushing this for you guys. I'm trying to keep this as neutral as possible so you can think about it in any aspect. With scheduling multi-posting, compiling old content. I mean, for most of us, you can make content in an instant. All you have to do is just if you wanted to, point your camera at the grass and just scroll the grass for a second. It's literally like that. People will literally watch anything. But they have gotten to the point so much that they've been fed the information into their brain that they just will take anything in like. That's how it is. So any kind of content, doesn't matter what it is, go ahead and make ads from it. Make new content from it. Get ideas from old videos that you had or old content that you had to create new. Also, don't forget to keep an eye on inbound orders. One of the things that we end up messing up a lot of times is if we don't have props or if we don't have, like certain products or certain clothing or certain whatever in the background, or maybe even camera parts, or, for whatever kind of thing that you're into, make sure you're keeping up with whatever you're ordering. As well as, for those of you who are doing collaborations, make sure that you're staying in contact with your contacts, especially if you have a photographer, a videographer, a location that you're going to be using. You want to make sure that you get approval for using that location, even if it seems like it's public area. There may be some qualifications that will disqualify you from monetization because of use and background. Um, so just be aware that that there are certain things, aspects of this that are beyond what our normal everyday thinking is. You got to think more business but savvy, and I know a lot of us get that now because mostly all the apps come with some kind of requirement that you have to meet, and there's also some kind of like small print that you got to get through, right? And a lot of us are still having to chase that rabbit hole to try to get the little bits of information so this way we can move forward, right? And that's like what I guess most people would call the one percenters, right? You're just constantly going after the next, the next, the next, the next. So, and recycling it, cycling it back into itself. Everything comes back to you, no matter what it is, right? So your finances, your budgeting is also going to be involved in this. You got to think too, your time is money. Your gas to get wherever you're going, or whatever kind of transportation that you have. Or for those of you who are now into the whole AI thing, uh, for the most part, it's just going to go ahead and dictate for you. But you can enter information to lead it in a specific direction, and maybe that'll help you. I personally will always prefer original, OGOC, because I am very much a promoter of imagination. But I also am a promoter of the new. So, as much as it's very scary. But, so yeah. For the uh, calendar shoot, July 4th is in the next 2 weeks. Go ahead and get that done if you haven't already, and get it ready for multi-posting, so this way you can set it up, because remember, we had to change the algorithm. You have to have 24 posts a day per social media. So go ahead and set that up for the next 6 months. And like I said, you can use any content. It could be content that you made 5, 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. The only way that people are going to see you now is if you keep pushing your product or your content or your ideas in front of them consistently. You are literally up against AI. This is an every 3 second flip, 1.5 second decision, and this is no longer your old school 30-second elevator pitch. Okay? Times have changed, and they changed over fucking night. So enjoy that and utilize that in a way that's beneficial, not just for you, but for everybody that's involved or will be involved, right? Um, and again, remember, like I said, as far as budgeting and orders and stuff, contracts, please, for the love of God, if you guys get contracts for photography shoots, especially if you're utilizing any kind of modeling agency online. For the love of God, please find out if these places are fucking legit or not before you go and meet these people, or sign anything, or agree to anything over the phone. Because as soon as you say yes to anything, they've automatically got your voice recorded, and they can use that in any term. So, and another thing is too, dark side of all of this is that there are scammers, that there are predators out there that will lure you to a location and do ungodly things, or possibly just traffic you. If you're lucky, in a sense, to survive any of that, you're going to be forever traumatized. So please, 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 for the love of God, make sure that the companies that you're working with are legit. If you have to, hire a lawyer. And I mean that in the best way possible, because of the fact that there's so many people now that are just so gung-ho and ready on the button, right? To just jump to whatever the final conclusion is, and their answer is yes, right now, right? Because it's instant gratification. that they jump on anything that glitters. And I know that for myself, growing up, we always heard about the stories of the guy coming to the door with a big check. You know what I mean? Kind of vibe of, oh, everything is wonderful. This is the greatest experience ever. And the next thing you know, you just signed your life away. So, also with AI, be aware that everything is open. Doesn't matter if you thought it was behind closed doors, you didn't, even if you've had a freaking firewall, AI is there. So, and it will be in your home, it'll be in everything. So, any kind of privacy that you thought you had, you do not have anymore. But in the meantime, until AI is completely taken over the world, we can continue to, like, for example, go live with adding new products to your seller sites. Um, you can figure out how to set it up, like I still need to do for the whatnot. Um, like I said, as far as the calendar shoots for July 4th, next month, the holiday is a funny one. It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So there's some inspiration for you guys. Um, this season is Earth Tones, Beach Core, Bangles, Hoops, Chains, Marble, Gold, and Shimmer. So those are the vibe, right? Um, as far as, like I said, my whatnot, I don't have set up yet, and TikTok seller, I have to adjust identification. So um, another thing that's going to be popular is purse accessories. I've noticed a lot of people lately have been making purse accessories that were mini brands. Um, they're kind of like a dangle jewelry for your purse. So I don't know. Back when I was younger, they had cell phone accessories real big. I know that there was a little bit of a wave with that when phone cases came out. I don't know if that's still popular or not, but that's another thing that you could look at too. You could have a purse accessory for your phone. Like if you have like a phone case that you could just slide your phone in and it's attached to your purse. Because I know from my purses, I like it when I can have my phone in my purse or just outside of it, so that's why I can just grab it if I need to. Like I always get, like, even if I have a clutch purse, like a little handbag or something, I always try to make sure that that has like a outside like pocket or something, like even if it's enclosed, like a zipper or like a magnetic enclosure. I try to make sure that it has like an outside pocket of some kind to put my purse or phone in. So, um, okay. For Amazon, like I said, July is Prime Days. One thing that I was trying to find out was how to leave reviews for money. I do know that that is available for, I think, anybody that's an influencer or affiliate. So, um, for for eBay, verified product listings and ad. I asked Jeff today to help me with that. So keep an eye out on my seller sites. There may be new products added today. We actually did get the garden stakes for the tomatoes, which is super cool because they look good. They're a little crooked, but they look good. They were crooked when we bought them, but whatever. But yeah, kudos to Jeff for that. So okay, Etsy. Oh yeah. So we got a new. This is actually the one that I originally wanted to get, but a dollhouse that I'm gonna recreate to look like a real house. I'm gonna like redo everything on this thing. I remember you guys, I was talking about this other dollhouse that I gotten, but it just seemed too whimsical. Um, I'm still gonna try to do something with it. Maybe do like something cottagecore-ish with it, like I was saying. I might leave it a little more animated than this one. This one's very detailed, and I really like that. I know that there's pieces missing to it because I got out of the bins, But for the majority of it is secure. It does need new light bulbs, and possibly new batteries. The batteries may have exploded inside of it, and I'm kind of nervous to open the battery pack because it's already bent out. There's probably battery acid all in that shit. Um, that's one of the downsides of messing with anything in the bins. A lot of times you'll get things that had batteries in it that are caustic. So make sure that you're wearing gloves. Try not to touch your face. I know that it's very difficult not to because it's just something in the air there that makes your face itchy, and I don't know why. I think it's just all the dust and dander and stuff. Um, Air circulation is not that great in there. So if you're the type of person to get really hot really fast or don't like crowds, yeah, you're probably not gonna like that. All right. So I've already split out a separate section for each one of these. Like I said, I was working in socials yesterday, so this way I can go ahead and break it down for you guys. But for the most part, you're pretty much going to have to keep up with everything at all times. Um, if you're really going to go ahead deep into this, you really are going to benefit, and I know it's expensive, but you're really going to benefit from a multi-posting program of some kind, whether it's multi-streaming or multi-posting. Now, at the very least, you can multi-stream from different phones for free still, as of right now. I suggest that you think like a bot farm and get multiple electronics. And I do know that there are different ways of doing it, but if you don't want to pay that $150 up front every single month, or every year, I think it's every year or every month, I can't remember. Anyway, you'll have to find out the pricing for it, but it's pretty pricey. Um, Especially those that have like multiple social media sites on there where you can post pretty much at any point in time, right? Um, Now, I've built the calendar out for a light touch to start with for those of you who are just getting into social media, but I suggest that for the social section that you guys do a light touch for your multi-posting, have it where it automatically posts 24 times a day for the next 6 months. And I know that sounds extreme, but if you already have the content available or you have um, like ideas for ads, thank yous, don't forget those. I mean, I don't know how many times that I see all these content creators out here, including myself, and they go for a long period of time and they get a lot of support and they forget to say thank you. Your thank yous are just as important as your advertising is. So, and also give opportunities for another project. If you're doing content creation with a collaborator, or if you're working on a new project, or, always try to push forward to the next date on the calendar. You want to get them to come back, so, or buy more products, or listen to your podcast, or, be involved in whatever it is that you're doing. So get them on the calendar, put it forward. So this way, for a fact that, okay, great, we're going to do this stream again at this point in time. If you're random like me, just stay aware. So consistency that is really key in having any kind of like professional business, but I do like some spontaneity mixed in there. So the let's see, what was that? Okay, Etsy is the dollhouse. New. Okay, so today's house chores is linens, windows, and doors. I actually already did the windows and doors. The only thing that I didn't do, I did wash all the linens, but the curtains. The curtains are the only ones that are really driving me crazy right now because I still haven't done it yet. Right now we're working on our washer drain line. So for those of you who do your own laundry, uh, and have curtains, then today's curtain day. I'm actually looking to possibly get a bottle of Drano to put down the drain. I'm not sure. We already tried that once. I'm just thinking about getting it and just letting it sit. Like, don't touch it. Don't use this. Because we actually did a load of laundry after we had put the Drano down there so we could rush it through. But I think it was too soon. I didn't think it really had a chance to kind of do what it needed to do. So, um, like I said, as far as Fashion Saturdays, calendar and Canva to build out for the next 6 months. Um, and don't forget to showcase yourself. I mean, really, if you're wanting to put yourself out there, just, you're going to have to step it up. Um, and think outside the box of what you would normally do. Okay. Maybe a different angle, maybe different colors or a different location. Maybe go outside and do it. Or, just change it up some. I don't know. Do something different. That's the only way you're going to stand out. Another thing is, I like Linktree because of the fact that you can put all of the sites and all of the donation places and like everything can go on there, right? But the problem is that I noticed that nobody really goes to it. Like nobody clicks on the Linktree. A lot of times people just see the Linktree and they're like, oh well, I don't have that, so I guess I shouldn't add it. It just got everything in there. Click on the thing. So, but yeah, it's almost kind of like a small brick wall. Whereas before, when we had all of our social medias posted everywhere, where people can pick and choose for themselves what they're going to add and what they're not going to add, or if they're going to add everything or nothing at all. So I do like Linktree, but I feel that there is a little bit of like a a more of a pressured con than there is a pro for it. I understand that a lot of social media sites don't allow you to either say certain names of companies or other websites. They don't allow you to post or advertise them on their website because either they're a competitor or there's just something, whether they feel is ethically immoral or whatever reason, maybe they feel like that it's just not a good fit for their company or whatever. So be aware that there's times when you're not going to be able to post your linkage. Maybe even go back and make sure that your linkage is still working. Like for example, with me, when I do the 6-month review, I go through my Linktree link by link, and I pull up my own links to make sure that my links are working properly still. And that my sales sites or my wish lists or my donation sites are all active and that everything is working well, because they're not going to tell you that there's a problem with it. They're just going to click on it. It's not going to work. And they're like, oh, well. And then they're going to go about their day. They're not even going to worry about it anymore. It's just not even a thought in their mind anymore. Because 3 seconds already passed. See what I'm saying? So it's got to be that instant gratification. They've got to be able to see it, find it, click it, add it, move on to the next. That's how fast it's got to be. So, I know for a fact that most people are down to, like I said, is at least a 3-second click rate. But, we even have like 10-minute videos on TikTok that nobody ever watches. And then there's like 15 seconds or something like that. I don't know. So the way that I broke it down for, if I could find it, timing wise, okay, here it is. Specifically TikTok. For posts, images are 0 to 3 seconds. Clips are 3 to 15 seconds. And videos are 15 to 30 seconds. That's the timing frame that you need to look at right now. As far as being able to push the algorithm for you specifically and really get you out there and hold on to the Halley's Comet tail that's going by right now, this AI shit, that's your best bet. And run with it. Lives, you can do random themed or you could do sellers. I do know that for a fact that there are requirements for each one of the sites, but that's pretty much what you're going to be looking at. You could give surprise gifts, subscriptions, discounts, and thank yous, like I said. But remember that a lot of the websites don't allow you to say keywords like giveaway or free. Okay, um, because that's just how they have set it up for make sure that there's not scams and stuff. You can make or ask for availability for tips, donations, wish lists, followers across platforms like social or seller sites, or to join your live streams is another option too. Um, I am currently at 3,000 on TikTok. I need 10,000. Um, so I'm looking at requirements as well of where am I at standing right now in this chaos. Because I'm already running circles around people who haven't started this shit. So I feel like I'm pretty far ahead. And like I said, I've been working the past 3 to 5 years on this shit. Like, and constantly adjusting it, constantly working with it and molding it to what it is right now. And I know for a fact that it's going to change over time. I'm just trying to figure out these little baby steps along the way. And maybe, like I said, maybe my little baby steps will help you guys get along faster than you ever thought possible, because now you had someone to help light your way, in whatever avenue that you're trying to utilize this in. And like I said, you can just get inspiration from anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific industry that I'm talking about, or a theme or a topic or idea or whatever. It doesn't have to be specifically that. You can think outside of what I'm saying and utilize it in the way that's best for you. And I could be talking about fashion, and then the next thing you know, you're creating a whole new industry from that has nothing to do with fashion. The possibilities are endless. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to start sparking that light within yourselves. So this way, we can pull out of this darkness of whatever the hell's going on in the world today, right? Even if your current external world doesn't even show signs of where, there's where in the world. Is Carmen San Diego? No, I'm just kidding. Just making light of the situation. I make jokes about horrible things. Don't mind me. I've been through a lot. So, and anybody else who has been through a lot understands where I'm coming from. Sure. We're talking about pulling the trigger, deciding, building from right now, pivot points, celebrations to be had, and revelations along the way. You end up realizing things that you never thought possible all of a sudden one day. And it is the weirdest experience. So, yeah. I don't know if that's... I say Rocher, but, I want to say there is a face cream company or something like that. Let me look this up. Oh, never mind. Rocher is a leader and innovator in addressing antimicrobial resistance, investing in new antibiotics and diagnostics, and working with partners for new breakthroughs. Oh, that's what's coming in North Carolina. They don't say that they're a pharmaceutical company, it just says Rocher. It's interesting. That's another thing, too, that you guys will have to keep an eye out for, is things will be labeled as one thing, but it's really a bodega for a corporation. Feel me? It's business. Business took over the street laws, right? Street laws took over business. Vice versa. All they are is hungry for numbers. No, no, no. Tubeless diabetes pumps. Interesting. Okay. So evidently that's the AI-based company that's kind of like around. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Okay. So I think I kind of talked about pretty much everything right now. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna be sent out, and I answered a question that you guys sent on email. Um, so for show and tell, like I said, that dollhouse. What did you create this week? Three of the options I put was dollhouse, clay, and painting. Um, and like I said, I got a new dollhouse. It was more real. I'll be working with that to make it as real as possible. Um, and maybe it'll be Eve's dream house. You know what I mean? So today's gym day, and totally failed on the protein department. So for 40 plus, protein prior, carbs after, strength training, and minimal cardio, like core strength training, and then like cardio, but not ridiculously like I was doing before, because it goes against what your body's trying to do, right? So, and then once I get into the 50s, that'll change too. There's also a specific period of time during the day where you're supposed to fast. And the reason for the word breakfast is because you're supposed to be breaking your fast, right? Um, from, overnight when you're sleeping. You're not really using a lot of energy. You're sleeping, you're resting. So your body's able to heal while you're resting and sleeping overnight. And you also get downloads and information while you're sleeping. Not only about self, but about outside things. So, same thing with vitamin D in the sunlight. They say that your body naturally, after 15 minutes of sunlight, um, processes it in a way like a plant would, but we process sunlight with one off from plants. So the energy that we receive from the sunlight, it kind of raises our vibration, and it gives us information downloads that we are not aware of, as far as um, like your everyday. But you do get um, like you have to be aware of like UV rays and stuff like that. So your skin receiving, that sunlight is going to age it. It's going to burn it. Um, it'll penetrate it in a way that is caustic almost. But and especially like right now, they say try to stay indoors, or um, if you do go out in the sun, make sure you're wearing SPF. But there's a lot of controversy in SPF in the sunlight right now, so just like be more educated in the topic as much as you can. But I do know for a fact that at the very least, keeping your skin hydrated and keeping your body hydrated at all times, because that's what we are mostly, is water. So that will help. So I went ahead and put in for less sugars, because I am a sugarholic. I've been failing at this horribly, by the way, so don't take it to heart if yours is too. More water, which I am doing. I actually have gotten it to the point now where I can drink it almost a gallon a day. Almost. If it's got flavoring in it. Because if it's plain, I'm not drinking it at all. Let's see what else. more protein, and you can get that from multiple places, not just like chicken and shit. You know what I mean? Um, I personally have been trying to add more vegetables or close to living as possible, living energy meaning. So if I pick it off the garden, I want to try to eat it like within that week, like within a very short amount of time, right? Like if you go to the store and get vegetables or fruits, you start to realize, unless they're refrigerated, that like after a week they start going bad. So the energy is being released from the product, right? Um, and what you're trying to do when you're eating vegetables and like stuff like that, your body absorbs through molecules the energy, the living energy, right? And it adds to your own frequency. So um, right now, most of society is like Death Eaters because the food that you're eating is already dead. There's no frequency coming from it at all. Especially like high processed foods or highly man-made foods. Anything man-made is pretty much bad for you. Um, uh, so um, and you'll start to see that now. People are, the U.S. specifically is starting to remove certain chemicals like dyes and stuff like that from the food. Things that other countries have already banned for forever. Like I think there's like a four ingredients list in other countries where your ingredients for your product can't go past four ingredients for a single whole food item. Um, which is weird. But anyway, um, but it's better because at least then you know, okay, if I can't pronounce it, it's bad for me. You know what I mean? Like that whole pioneer spirit. um, but yeah, all of these things kind of interweave with each other, and making sure that you're getting enough sleep. My mandatory five of sleeping, eating, hydrating, brushing, washing. That's the five. So sleeping, try to get between 5 to 9 hours a night. I know, or whenever. Most people can't do that. You try to get as close to that as possible, or even if it's a lower number. um, and then eating a full meal a day, hydrating a gallon a day, um, washing your body and your clothes and your surroundings, and just washing everything. um, and then brushing is like teeth, hair. If you have animals or whatever, like for those of you who have pets, keep that in there too, because pets like to be brushed. So it's not a mandatory, but I threw that in there. Not everybody is a kid parent. Some are pet parents, some are plant parents. You know what I mean? So and some are just probably better off never being a parent, and that's out there. So, um, let's see. Um, for Goodwill or thrifting, because remember we're going to change that section to thrifting. Like I said, personal household for sale items, budgeting was another one, and sinking funds. So sinking funds is part of budgeting.
Hey, it's 4:30.
I know,
Okay.
but it's something that like is a light touch. But the thing is right now we're light touching the envelope system to get ourselves accustomed to the budgeting, but at the same time we're keeping receipts to get used to tax time for business purposes, because everything that you're doing right now could be making you money. There is so much money available right now that they are like stopping printing it. Okay, so um the it's just thinking outside the box and layering it. The thing is when you start layering it, that's when you start to mess up, because you end up missing pieces to each one of them. When you have multiple incomes, multiple sources of outbound energy, We tend to not take care of all of our tentacles that are going out into the universe. So, making sure that we're backtracking to the core source of whatever and just real quick running the line. Making sure that everything is set up properly, everything is working the way that you're thinking that it's working. Because a lot of times we assume something's working properly and it's not. Like a lot of times I've been muted for an entire stream. Sometimes I get that double reverb back where you guys can't even hear what I'm saying, but you're at the same time hearing what I'm saying, and it's ridiculous. So just double checking yourself, grounding yourself, and humbling yourself, and understanding that errors do happen, including things that are beyond our control. Um, and that, for the most part, this is all trial and error. This has never been done before. So we're doing everything brand new. And especially if it's new to you, everybody's got to start somewhere, even if it's zero or negative. Sometimes we are stupid to an idea and we assume something and end up kicking ourselves in the ass later because we didn't do it right. So, building those out and um, getting to your next step. Maybe the aesthetics and stuff like this you could utilize in your thrift buying. If you're going to be changing out your own personal wardrobe at the very least, maybe you could look at something that's outside of your normal aesthetic. Maybe you could look at a color that is something that you wouldn't normally wear, but it looks pretty cool. You also have to look at seasons. Maybe you could wear something that's out of season that would be layered to whatever your aesthetic is. Maybe you get lucky, you get a cool day during the summer, and you can wear something like a little bit longer sleeve or something. I don't know. Holidays. Think outside the box for holidays. Um, I know that a lot of times you see, especially if you go into like any superstore, you see all the different holidays kind of like meshing together now, where we're getting things like 3 or 4 months in advance. Like, okay, it's Thanksgiving, but you guys have freaking Valentine's Day shit out. Hold on a second, you know? Whoa there, Nelly. When all of the holidays and all of the seasons mix, that's when you know it's close to the end, right? Events also is another thing that you could look at. If you're going to a special event, maybe you could throw on a new aesthetic. I wouldn't suggest doing that off the bat. I would wear it like a couple of times before you go, even if it's just in your room or something, just to like kind of get used to the vibe. But if you're one of those type of people like spontaneity and don't really give a shit, wear whatever you want. Basic special places, bags and shoes, accessories, and extras are also to look at too. This also gives open door opportunity for those of you who are creators. So making fashion or making jewelry or making bags, shoes, accessories, any kind of basics or extras, it gives you the opportunity to have inspiration. Now, as far as social requirements, I'm going to probably get into that more next time, but because I still have to get the information myself. So, but once I get it compiled, I'll give it to you guys, and then you can have a full listing, so this way you can have one place to look at it for everything. And then you can have a content planner. Like I said, the next 6 months are going to be crucial for your advancement, and I want you guys to really start looking forward to what you want to do in the future. But don't forget what's happening right now or things that you may have missed in the past, because it'll trip you the fuck up and it'll put you right behind first place. Like right behind there, and you're going to be so pissed at yourself for not taking the steps that you needed to take to begin with. So, and it's easy to bypass, so don't get hard on yourself if it fails. It's part of the learning process. And we're going to keep building forward from there. Even if you fall flat on your fucking face, we're going to get our asses back up better than Humpty Dumpty, and we're going to put ourselves back together again. Let's fuck them damn soldiers. You know what I mean? All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. He was an egg. Just kidding. Also found out, little side note, that I can actually bake these light bright pegs to make things like melted plastics in a sense. Like you know those little sun catcher little bead things that you just you put in the oven for like 350 for like 10 minutes, not even, and they're melted and they're beautiful. I can actually do that with this now. So I'm really excited to try this out and see how it works. I am going to use a small bit of it because my luck, I'm going to burn the motherfucker. I hope not. But it does say on here 350 for 20 minutes. I might put it on for 10 and keep checking it until further notice. So, but yeah, they said that it is one of those recyclable plastics that you can actually melt at home. For those of you who are into upcycling or recycling, that is an option for you guys as well. And I really hope that you guys start doing that. I hope that you start taking what you already have and making new from it. Okay? That's a good starting ground. You already have it. Make it new. Change it up a little bit. Make a new fashion, make a new style, make a new statement. Whatever you have to do. Because the old ways are not going to work anymore. You got to find new ways to work it to your favor. So, until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And